I've been seeing a lot of people eating McDonald's for ASMR videos, so I figured I would try it. So here's what we have. Medium fry. We have 2 double cheeseburgers with mac sauce. And 10-piece nugget with this new sauce I've never heard of. Mambo. Not quite sure what that tastes like. And to wash it all down, caramelized coffee. So, let's go ahead and get started. I think we'll start off with some of the nuggets and the mambo. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's like ketchup and jelly mixed together. It's like a sweet ketchup, but it's also spicy. Pretty good. So, I just got back from Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens. It was pretty good. They had a few new houses this year. They had the Residence, which was pretty much just a haunted house. You'd walk through like an actual home, and just kind of like creepy. This time they made it like Christmas themed, so they had Santa, a bunch of different like, I don't know, Christmas themed things like Christmas trees and stuff like that, just everywhere, and a lot of snow inside the house. They had a clown house, like a circus house, really good. Pretty scary. It's one of my favorite houses this year. A lot of jump scares. I don't really care for clowns all that much, but it was pretty cool. They had one that was like an old like mansion kind of situation. A lot of like old like bookshelves and old relics and stuff. It looked like a mansion. house. I can't remember what it was called. But it was probably the best one because it was so dark. And a lot of room to jump scare in there. So I think the vampire house and the clown house, the circus one, are probably top 2. They had a few different scare zones, not as many as they usually do. One was like an old zombie, kind of like a 1950s zombie. It kind of reminded me of like Call of Duty zombies. If you've ever played that, that was pretty cool. Overall, I really wanted to go to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando because, you know, they have like a bigger budget and they have the rights to the movies and stuff. And Howl-O-Scream is more low budget and kind of like B-list. They can't really do any like movie themes or anything. But overall, I went about 6:30, right when it opened. I got through all 6 houses and had time to spare. Park closes at like midnight, so I left at like 10. So, and I went during the week. That's the key. You have to go during the week, early, and you'll get through every house. But it was pretty cool. We were over by the bumper cars. And they had the guys walking around on stilts. One guy was green, he looked like Gumby. Another guy was white, he was supposed to be like a ghost. He tried to jump scare me. I didn't see him. So I bumped into him, and he freaking like hit me in the face. I didn't get mad. I'm just like kind of startled. And he was like, he broke characters. Oh man, I'm sorry. Hey, we don't need to tell my boss about that. And I was like, no, man. Get the fuck out of here. He was cool about it. And he didn't like sock me. He just kind of like brushed my face. I was like, so I don't know if this is for like a movie or some kind of promotion. Mambo. Sugar, tomato ketchup, distilled vinegar, salt, onion powder, spice, and natural flavor. Oh. Cayenne pepper sauce. That's what Mambo is. Chili peppers, cayenne pepper. Okay, so it's a cayenne pepper dipping sauce. It just says Mambo. That's okay. But overall, it was pretty cool. I used to actually work there a couple years ago. I did scare acting there. And it was a really fun process. Basically, when you get hired on, or well, it's like an audition. they put you in this giant room with like, I don't know, like 15 people. And there's like a row of tables that are like all judges that watch you. And there's like 6 judges, and each one represents like one of the houses. They all run one of the houses. So you have to like, they shout out different characters, and you have to like rapid fire act out these characters in front of a bunch of people. It's really stressful, especially for people like me who have stage fright. And I don't like to really, I'm very introverted. I don't really want to be like that in front of a bunch of people, but you have to. And the better you stand out, you'll get like a more prominent role, like out in the middle of the front of the house, as opposed to like if you don't stand out, then they're just gonna put you in like a casket or somewhere where you won't really be seen. One year, I was in this house called Slaughterhouse, and I guess my audition was like, I got hired on, but they put me in like this little like table with a hole, and I sat down in it, and it had fake legs, so it looked like I was cut in half, but my legs were up underneath. So stuff like that. Like, it wasn't a big role, but I don't know. Oh, also, I got some stuff. When I say stuff, I mean like one thing. It's this year's shirt. So it says admit 1. Then the back. It's kind of cool. So that's what I got. Oh, my dog's here. I know what she wants. Okay, let's move on to some double cheeseburgers real quick. You know, every time I order a double cheeseburger, I always get it with mac sauce. Sometimes it's real sloppy, thrown together. The past 2 times I've been to McDonald's, it was like perfect. There was no mess. The bun was grilled. It was delicious. This time, I mean, granted, it is pretty late, but can't really see it, but it's just kind of thrown in there. And call me weird, but I like to inspect it. Make sure there's nothing sketchy in there. One time, I went to a pretty popular burger chain. I'm not going to mention the name, but it was late at night. I got my burgers. Took a bite out of it. Something sharp was in there. I quickly retracted it, and opened it up. Somebody put an untwisted paperclip in my burger. Not just a paperclip. Untwisted paperclip. So it wasn't enough that some kind of office supply found its way into the sandwich. Somebody got it beforehand and went and untwisted it. It was like, when you bit down, it was sharp. I went around to the drive-thru window and I said, "Hey, what the hell is this, man?" And the guy was like, "Oh, you want us to comp your meal?" I was like, "Yeah." So the manager came over and was like freaking out about it, and they took it back. I probably shouldn't have gave it to them, but they took it back. And they're like, we'll give you a free meal. I'm like, the hell's that gonna do? But whatever. Okay. Sure doesn't look like the commercials, huh? But yeah, there wasn't huge lines this time around. And like I said, it's probably because I went early. So that's probably the best thing you could do. I'm trying to remember the name of the other houses. I literally just came from there, and I can't already remember it. But the drinks. They had 3 drinks. They usually have the same 3 drinks every year. One was like a creamsicle, one was like a cranberry tequila, and the other one was like some sort of apple drink. On top of that, they have like little like syringes filled with like Jello shots, and they have IV bags with like some kind of like blood drink. Guess you didn't want that one. But yeah, everything individually was about $15. So didn't matter if you got the shot or one of the drinks, it was all like 14 and change. Pretty standard for a theme park. And you know they made a killing on that stuff because people were like trash. Funny thing about that, as the night progresses, people get more and more drunk. So when I was working in that house I was telling you about, in my room, we had 2 other girls working in there. One stood behind this wall of like these barrels, and she'd jump out and like scare you. This guy came through, older guy. This girl, it was her first year. She was probably like right out of high school, probably 18 or so. This guy was probably in his 50s. And he was like belligerent. You could smell it on him. She jumped out and kind of just, yeah. And he went, wham, and like punched her in the nose. And I don't know if he broke her nose, but he drew blood. And TPD went in there, pulled the guy out. She was like freaked out. She quit right on the spot. So you gotta watch out for that kind of stuff, because it does happen. But yeah, the drinks. I've had the apple one before. Really sugary, really sweet. The creamsicle one I didn't have, but it looked okay. This year, I only tried the tequila one, and that one's really good. And it seemed like different bars or booths or whatever you want to call it have different flavored drinks, which this year wasn't really the case. But I did see this other one. It was like some sort of like hibiscus flower one. So yeah. And they had the standard food, loaded nachos, hot dogs, pizza, all that stuff. The barbecue place the smokehouse was still open, but who has that kind of money, you know? They had a Halloween funnel cake that was like dyed black and had a bunch of like spooky shit on it. Well, by spooky shit I mean it had like I think worms and like Oreos or something. I don't know. Probably like $20. But yeah, the ticket was like 40, 42 or something like that. So it wasn't expensive. And most of the time, people will tell you you get the fast pass or the VIP pass to cut the lines. It wasn't necessary this year. Well, at least when I went. Like I said, we went through all 6 houses and still had time to kill. Pretty good, yo. see if we can get this other one. Like that here. I know you see the blonde hair. It's for a Halloween costume I'm going to be doing. Well, I say blonde, but it's really... There's some orange in there, like some red. I bleached it wrong. Anyway, I'm going to be Wesker from Resident Evil for Halloween. Kind of get the trench coat and everything, so... Oh. I don't think there's really much else going on, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to finish that other one right now. I've bought 2 of them. I might save it for later. Just wanted to hang out for a minute and tell you all about Howl-O-Scream. It's worth going. I would check it out. Oh. What do they call that? Cirque X Scream, I think it was called. It was like a horror version of Cirque du Soleil. That was awesome. You have to check that out. I forgot all about that. It's like a little, like, 15-20 minute, like, circus show. They had these 2 girls up on, like, a wire doing, like, spins and stuff. Together, there's 2 of them. This chick split, right? She's hanging on up here. These are her legs. Like, another girl, like, somehow, like, latched on and was dangling. So they were, like, doing this. I know that looked weird, but that's what it was. They had a group of these 6 girls dancing. Really cool. They had a chick that was twirling batons with fire on them. They had a guy that stacked like fucking 15 chairs in the air and did a handstand on it. No idea how he didn't die. It was wild. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, they had a trampoline and they had these people in like purge looking masks jumping off this barricade onto the trampolines, doing flips. So definitely go check that out because that was cool. And of course the houses. Alright guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started on Loki Season 2. So, I'll let you go for now. Good night.